years, something like that, we were office mates. And Ed used to say that he hated to go into the library, as he referred to it, into the men's room before a lecture, because invariably the basin would splash on the front of his trousers. And he would go into the lecture and have to spend the whole time standing behind him. We have feelings too, we all do. That was left over from the eulogy. I was going to use it, and then I decided that it wouldn't go over too big in the mission. Some members of the Zucchelli family want to steal his old chair from Polly. And were trying to entice me into it. And when one of the people doing the enticing is a deputy sheriff and the other one is a military policeman, you tend to go along with it. But I'm not going to steal that damn chair, I promise you. It's state property. You want to give it to him, go ahead and give it to him. I think that'll be a nice move. That'll be a fitting thing to do. Give him the chair.
Give him the chair.
Surplus it. Give him the chair. Give him the chair. I guess we wouldn't have a journalism department if it weren't for George over there, who's sipping on his third time you like. But George came up, as some of you know, he was at the invitation of now President Baker. He was the commencement speaker and spoke twice in a single day, a double header. People are talking about closing the journalism department. You better think twice before you do it. And I give him all sorts of credit for the fact that the department survived its lowest ebb in its career, probably. That single-handed, George turned that thing around, and we all owe you a big debt. '68, I guess, and Josh was sick, and Ellen decided that we needed to move to a sunnier climate, and I started looking for a place to work, and got a job by telephone. And I was supposed to be interviewed by Dean Carl Cummins, and Carl got to Minneapolis on a very snowy day and called me from the airport, and he said, we'll conduct the interview by telephone because it's too difficult for us to get together. But he said they need somebody in the journalism department out there. And I can tell this story now because all the people who were involved are dead or gone, except my good friend President Kennedy, who's sitting in back, and he'll never complain about this after this long juncture. But these people interviewed me over the telephone in a conference call sort of thing. Plumbed the depths of my psyche and asked me if I was willing to come out and join them, and I agreed to do it. And I went in to see my dean, who was a Peabody Award-winning radio reporter, a man named E.Z. Zebarth, who made a great name for himself and had been a debate coach at one time. Had coached Hubert Humphrey, Arthur Naftalin, later the mayor of Minneapolis, and the Secretary of Agriculture on one debate team. And I said, sir, I've accepted a job at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. I'm going to be leaving. I was an assistant to the dean. And he said, God, you're not going there, are you? He said, you're going to an academic backwater. You're going to a slough beyond compare. He said, you can kiss your PhD ambitions goodbye, because they don't care for PhDs there. He said, that's an ag school, and you're going to be miserable there. And you know, sure enough, I was for about the first week. First thing I did was say, where do you keep the journalism quarterlies? And the late John Healy looked at me and said, what? My research ambitions did fade very quickly, and as a matter of fact, I didn't get around to doing any research for the next 25 years. Gary, where are you? Where's Gary? We earn degrees nowadays. After it was all over with, I decided it was time to do some research. I wasn't unhappy. I was more mystified. I was given more freedom than I knew what to do with. Nobody told me where to go or how to go about it. I'd never taught before to amount to anything. I taught in Cairo, but only as a teaching, or taught in Florida as a teaching assistant. My teaching in Cairo amounted to walking into the classroom and we had 100 students from 100 countries there, most of them African. And I would come into the room and they would all rise. They would stand at attention. I didn't know how to get them to sit down. It took me weeks to discover it. And I finally got it. There was a servant standing in the door wearing a galabeah and holding a big tray and a pot of tea on it. And I said, Shai, bring me tea. And I sat down and he brought me tea, and from then on, that was the beginning of every class. So you can see I didn't know a hell of a lot about teaching. I still don't. I don't have any notion of what it is to be a teacher. One time on an evaluation, Dean Erickson, after I had won the Outstanding Teacher Award and CNPA's award thanks to Dick Blankenberg, I had won these things, and the next year's evaluation said, Hayes is a fine teacher. Maybe with a lot of work someday he can be a great educator. I don't like labels. I've been labeled most of my life for one thing or another, and labeled and libeled. I get real upset when I see people labeled in the paper. I really got upset about Rodney King. I thought we overdid that black motorist business. There must be something else we can say about him. Victim, maybe. When I was up in Lewiston, Idaho, this last 2 weeks ago, they were doing a lot of stories on a fellow you may remember up there, who, poor unfortunate man who locked himself and a bunch of other people in a cabin and tried to shoot it out with the feds. He's on trial now, and every story refers to him as a white separatist. I don't have the slightest idea what a white separatist is. It doesn't ring a bell with me at all. If there's anything in the world I'd like to see us do, it would be to get over labeling, to get over making snap judgments and quick judgments about people and events, for that matter. What I would like to see us do is all be like we are tonight and all together and get along as well as we can. And not be remembered as, I'm a teacher and you're a student, or he's a department head, or he worked for AP and retired, or he's going to graduate from Santa Cruz, or she's a dietitian, or whatever. We're all people. We're all in this thing together, and you've made me unbearably happy tonight and proud that you've turned out to be the kind of people you have. You're good friends. I love you all. Thank you very much. Tell those people that if any of them are so minded tomorrow, there's a bunch of beer and Coke and guacamole out at our house at 1421 Las Encinas in Los Osos. I want you to park across the street. Go home.
3 quick items. Dean has been taping this, and if everything works out, if you want to tape it this evening, or you have a friend who was not able to make it, send a blank tape to the department, along with a self-addressed stamped mailer. Also, you can pick up an endowment.
It's great to be here tonight. Thank you very much for everything. You've been a great friend and wish you all the luck in the world, and I'll look forward to be seeing you. Thank you, sir. Joan Halpin?
This is to Jim. Jim, this is Joan Halpin. I'm working now at the Santa Barbara Independent, and many times I wish I had you as my riding coach. So I know where to get a hold of you now in Los Angeles, and if you ever come to Santa Barbara, stop by. It's good to be here.
Hey, baby. The weirdest thing has happened. I've been teaching at Cal Poly. I know it's very strange, but whenever I get a red pen in my hand and look at those papers, I have this compulsion to cross out misspelled words, write "see me" on it, and slam their grades and saying, this is a 400 level class. Where have you been? This paper should be perfect by now. What's wrong with you? I don't know why, but it's just this compulsion that I have.
Jim, this is Dick Blankenberg. Again, it's a pleasure to be here at your testimonial dinner on your retirement. You influenced a lot of people who work in the journalism profession, and as a publisher, I really appreciate that. As president of CNPA, I represent the whole industry of California newspaper, and you had a lot of influence. I appreciate your personal friendship too, and what we tried to do for the SPJ or SDX units in this area. Never got it off the ground for the adults, but I'm glad to see the students still get that tradition instilled in them at Cal Poly. Thanks again for all you've done.
Mr. Hayes, I just want to thank you for the encouragement you've given me over the years. It's been great down here at Cal Poly, and I'd like to say that I've learned a lot and have you to thank for part of that. Hope you do well next few years. I hope your golf game improves. Congratulations on the hole-in-one. I'll be thinking of you when I'm out there golfing. I'm quite a hack at golf, but I know that I'm not the only one. So take care. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Well, I've been telling everybody this story all night. It's funny to me. I hope it's funny to you too. I remember the time when I broke my toe and I was on crutches, and you had a rule to always show up to class on time. Well, I was waiting for the Disabled Student Services van to come and pick me up, and they were late. And I kept calling them on the phone because I knew if I didn't get there on time, I'd be locked out of the class. So sure enough, I'm hobbling down the hallway, and I see somebody going to the door to close it and lock me out, and I just barely made it. And you said, no, she can't come in, lock her out. And then you saw my toe and how I had this, it wasn't in a cast, but it was the special type of shoe, so you let me in finally. And so I'll never forget that. I also remember some things about stories and editing, and now that I'm an editor, I really employ all those techniques. So thanks a lot, Jim. Happy retirement.
Here we are. What's the date?
June
5th. Oh, wasn't it? This was the anniversary of the assassination of Robert Kennedy.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But it also is the evening now that Jim Hayes is totally retired.
Jim, thanks for everything. You've heard this before. Simply, we love you.
Yeah, we love you, Jim. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Could have said that to him in person because he's like right over there. You didn't have to tell the machine. What I have to say, I can't say that to have it on tape, so I'll have Shirley say.
He's my spokesperson. Thanks, Mr. Hayes. You're the greatest, the best. We love you. Lots of good memories.
Jim, this is my second attempt at this evening. I just wanted to say this time, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've been a tremendous impact in my life. While I'm in Japan, I'll be thinking of you often, and I look forward to our correspondence and your continued guidance in my life. Thank you again.
Mr. Hayes, I have to tell you, I still have a hard time calling you Jim. You'll always be Mr. Hayes to me. And I do want to say thank you for everything that you taught me and everything you did for me, because it really did mean a lot. So thanks.
I said tonight that your jokes were bad. I always liked your jokes, and I think that's because you got most of them from me. I gave you kind of a serious card tonight, but like it said in the PS, I'll send you some good jokes. thanks for everything. Glad I could come.
Meg, and I wanted to thank you too, and I'm a little shy about this, but I want to tell you you're a cute guy, and I know you really probably hate that, but you're very lovable, and I want to thank you for saving my butt on that awful senior project. It dragged out for 2 years, and you called me after 2 years and told me it was expiring and got me off my butt to do it, and wanted to thank you for that, and letters of recommendation and helping all my friends, and you're just a great guy, and you just inspired us, so hope you have a fantastic rest of your life. Bye.
Jim, it's all over, the tribute to you, but I just want you to know that our thoughts are with you, and they will be with you in the future, and we just wish you the best, and you better come and see us in LA before we move to Portland. We're getting mad. Bye.